Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the Brand Experience Live podcast. I am so excited to get into talking with our guest today. For those of you who don't know me or you're joining for the first time, my name is Ashley Pereira. I am the host of Brand Experience Live podcast, where we dive into the individuals and the brands that are making a huge impact in terms of creating better brand experiences for their prospects and buyers and candidates and employees. And I'm so excited to talk about creating better buyer experiences today with my guest, Kim Breiland. Hi, welcome.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I mean, it's a Friday, so that's like pretty exciting, but
Yeah,
I'm more excited about our conversation and to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
me too. I'm just so thrilled. And the way that I met you, which I love, and I feel like I'm telling this story more and more
Mhm.
lately. I made a post on LinkedIn a couple months ago now, which,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, time flies so fast.
So true.
But
Yeah.
I made this post on LinkedIn because I had this epiphany one day during the summer, and I was like, my whole goal is to empower other women. And this is what I keep hearing over and over again is like, thank you for giving me the courage, whether it was a trauma survivor reaching out to me or another mom or a woman starting her entrepreneurial journey or
Mhm.
even women who have been in their entrepreneurial journey for a long time, but they were like missing something in terms of mental health.
Mm.
I realized, like, from looking at all these messages, okay, like my mission is to empower other women to be better and do better and understand their value and their worth. And why don't I know more women? Like, there's got to be more out there doing what I want to do. So I made this post on LinkedIn. I'm calling it my women's empowerment post,
Mhm.
where I simply asked, like, hey, ladies, like, I want to be connected with other female founders and executive leaders who are really focused on empowering other women, or they have empowered their own journey through entrepreneurship. Like, tell me who they are. I want to know them. I want to know their stories. You were tagged amongst 77 other women,
Amazing.
and just the conversations I've had have seriously changed my life over the last 2 months, and here we are.
I love it. I know. And we had the best conversation. I can't believe
Yeah.
it. It really has. It's been a couple months now. I mean, but when we connected, it was what I loved most was the true collaboration spirit you brought to the conversation. I think we
Mhm.
both agreed that like the number one thing was like community collaboration and just
Yes.
it was amazing conversation.
Yes, and
Yeah.
before we get into the whole, like, buyer experience
Yeah.
discussion today, I think it's so important to note, right, like, I am genuinely a champion
Mhm.
of empowering other women to do what they feel, what they want to do, what they're passionate about. And
Mhm.
there is no two women who are going to provide the same thing. So you're not losing out on any opportunities by championing
Yep, you got it.
other women.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
true.
I want
So
to break
true.
this narrative of, coming from this. I don't know. I feel like in the past, a lot of women are very selfish when it comes to lifting each other up because we're afraid of losing our own opportunity, which has, right? It continues to keep us down. But those who lift others up and see that money is everywhere,
Yes.
right? There
Yeah.
is enough for so many of us and then
So
some with
many.
8
Yes.
billion people on the planet.
Thank you. Exactly. Yep.
But we don't do that. You and I, when we got to talking, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this woman literally has the same program that she's creating at the same time, same verbiage,
Yes.
same goals,
Yep.
same everything."
Yep.
I want to tell everyone about Kim, but the thing is, like, I'm not afraid to tell anyone about you because your target market is different.
Yeah, totally, exactly, and that's what we're gonna jump into today, but you're exactly right, and ditto in the reverse, right? Like we said, we each bring our unique, something to the table, and even though they are highly similar, they're
Yeah.
also highly dissimilar. They're
Yes.
they're, they definitely speak to a unique person. And so, to your point, the market share that each of us needs to smash our goals to help tons of people is actually so tiny.
Yeah.
When you think about the number of people online, the number of people in the world, it's like, girl, I'm going to cheer you on because
Yeah.
there's more than enough to go around for all of us, right?
Right?
I love that energy. I love that so much.
So
Yeah.
I know about Founder Fast Track.
Yes.
And I know about it because I'm like, this is my program. But I want everyone else to know about it because I think that what you're doing in helping founders to create a better buyer experience for their
Mhm.
prospects and their
Yeah.
current buyers,
Yes.
I think that this like framework that you've created for the program that you're offering is so fantastic. And
Oh, thank you.
I just want to learn like more about what has gotten you to this point to create this framework and tell us more about how it's going to help business owners scale and also right get back their peace of mind and their
Predictability is everything, right? That's what I say.
yeah,
Predictability and productivity equals profitability. That's the key, right? And
love
so
it.
I think, to your point, like in order to have a great buying experience for your ideal clients, you have to deeply understand your business. You have to
Mm,
understand how you serve, and you have to understand, not to throw out like, jargon, but the UVP. So your unique value proposition, it's your unique brand identity. And
mhm.
I think that for a long time, people could really throw out anything and
Yeah.
people were clicking, people were buying. And now it's like there has been, and I'm sure you have felt it, a massive shift, right, in the past year and year and a half, really. And what happened is buyers are now very educated. They know what's out, they really know what's out there. They know what they want. They might be, most of them are problem aware, but
Mhm.
and they might be solution aware, but they really aren't sure. They want to feel like they belong in in the container, in the community. They
Yeah.
want to feel like they can trust the person, right? And so, and then they want to feel like they're really bought into the mission and vision of that person's container, their company, and all those things. And a lot of times that's hard for business owners who are in the first couple years of their journey,
Yeah.
right? And I think that there's so much out there that can confuse and overwhelm a person that's in their first five, let's say, I'm going to say 5 years of business, because
Yes.
believe it or not, I predominantly, before Founder Fast Track, I predominantly worked with businesses, one-to-one consulting with businesses who were looking to scale, like who had
Mhm.
really achieved like the multiple six figures, but really wanted to understand how to get to that 7-figure level. And usually, this, like what gets
Yeah.
us to 6 is not going to get us to 7.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of times those people that get to the multiple 6, they have team. They have a
Yes.
way. They're not solopreneurs. They're not, or like a solopreneur with a VA. And so they have the ability to troubleshoot a lot of things and to
Yes.
think about their entire company from a 360-degree approach, and then to know exactly what they need to give their buyer. And they know exactly how to take their buyer from that first point of contact and all the way through the journey until the point of committing to a program or a product, right? A
Mhm.
service or a product. And honestly, I got very frustrated looking in the market because I was seeing all of these people that were charging high touch, high ticket. Well, guess what? If you're in your first couple of years, that is not a priority. That should not be a priority, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing I was seeing is I was seeing a lot of people throw some really great, flashy buzzword, like really awesome things up there. And then I'd be in networking groups, or I have a wonderful, community of people that I network. And it was like, oh yeah, I paid for this and it didn't really get me the results. And I did this
Yes.
and it didn't get me the result. And I was hearing that
Oh.
more, I know, right? More and more and more. And that's where I'm saying, to go back to understanding how important it is, the work that we do, is because if you do not have a solid, unique brand position,
Yes.
everything hinges on that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Foundation is everything. And in
Right.
one of my like recent episodes, I did an episode by myself a few weeks ago where
Mhm.
I said one of the first things I said was, listen, if you are a solopreneur or you're a business owner and you have not done
Mhm.
this exercise yet, you need to listen because the entire like
Mhm.
foundation of your business rests on this. If you do not have a solid foundational strategy for your brand
Mhm.
and you don't know where you want to go
Yeah. Yeah.
either,
Yeah.
there is no way to map out how you're going to get there. And you're going to get to like, I don't know, you're either 1, 3, or 5,
Yep.
depending
Yep.
on what kind of work you've done.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you're going to get to one of those points and you are
Mhm.
going to be frustrated and you're
Mhm.
going to close your business or you're going to fail because you did not set this foundation that doesn't take any period of time to do, especially
Mhm.
with tools like, for example, ChatGPT, if you know how
Mhm.
to use it
Right. Right.
properly, like for
Right.
the right
Yes.
ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I did a prompt with that. I was like, I'm a brand strategist. I'm a
Mhm.
business strategist. This is the only ChatGPT prompt that I use.
Yeah.
And I use it to set the foundation for everything else that I'm going to build.
Mhm.
But I gave that and I was like, you're going to spend 10 minutes on this. 10
Mhm.
minutes is
Mhm.
going to impact the next 5 years of your life.
Yep.
So would you rather take 10 minutes now
Mhm.
or be lazy and just like get into it and have
Yeah.
no plan and stress out later on when you get to one of these markers
Mhm.
and be one of those statistics here in the US of the businesses that fail in their first 1, 3, or 5 years of business? This
Absolutely.
is why. It's because of no foundation.
Exactly. And because to your point, it needs to be baked into every layer of what
Yes.
you're doing, right? And so really understanding the logic and the
Mm.
emotional behind your buyer and how your brand, your position in the market, it's going to solve that for them is so crucially important. It, like you said, it guides everything you do with your sales and
Mhm.
marketing effort, the way that you onboard, the way that your team can support you, and also like anybody forward facing for your business. I mean, it literally is the foundation, like you said. I mean, it's something that I think people are beginning to understand. I think they hear it, but I
Yeah.
don't know that they really
They're
understand
like,
it.
do I need to do it?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's like for Nike and, big companies."
Yeah.
So,
Like, oh, I'll worry about this when I make it. Pff, you're not
yeah.
going to make it.
No, you won't make it. You won't make
You
it.
won't.
Yeah, yeah. I read a fantastic book called Obsessed on this topic, and
Okay.
it was so good, and I'm like, blank it's like off camera, but I will I will send it to you. But I wanna say it's like Emily Hayward or I think is the author's name, but the
Okay.
book is called Obsessed, and it's like building a business from day one that clients are obsessed with. And it
Yeah.
was so inspiring. It was so gritty. I mean, it really gave you just amazing information.
Mm.
So,
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
And, going back to the point of buyers are really educated these days.
Mm,
And I love this, right? I
mm,
have been in brand for 12 years.
yeah.
And for the last 12 years, all I've been preaching is, right, strong SEO, write the way that people talk, think the
Yes,
way that people think,
yes.
communicate the way that they understand, talk
Mhm,
to them like you're your friend. And right now, right, it's starting to catch on because
mhm.
people are starting to search that way too. They're
Yeah,
starting to actually search for solutions in the way
yes.
that they would talk to a friend, right?
Yeah.
So if I need to know what is the best restaurant for lobster rolls, which I don't think we really do those in South Florida, but
That's a Florida thing.
but if I wanted to know, right, it's gonna pull up Maine or
Yeah, I was
something
just
or
gonna say, I'm like,
Boston.
maybe Queen, like, you know.
But I'm the first thing I'm gonna do because I'm a millennial. I use Google. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to Google and
yeah.
say, what is the best restaurant for lobster rolls near me? Right? It's a real question. And the way that I talk, the
Absolutely.
way that I think, this
Yep.
is what people do. So
Yes.
communicate the way that people do because
Yep.
the reason these flashy things don't work anymore is because of buyer frustrations
Mhm.
and feeling that impact, like what you described of,
Mhm.
oh, well, I got this, but I don't have all this. And
Mhm.
I've found that a lot too, right? I
Mhm.
focused on the starting point
Yeah.
because I have found with all of the clients and the employers that I have worked with, the
Mhm.
starting point, the foundation was the thing
Mhm.
that was missing. So
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, well, I know how to do all this stuff, but I don't understand why it's not working."
Yeah.
because you didn't have the baseline set up in the
Yeah.
first place.
Absolutely.
And these flashy things don't work anymore because of that constant frustration. So they're kind of traumatized, right?
Yeah.
There's buyer trauma right
Yeah.
now around their past experiences. So
Yeah.
your job is to make them feel comfortable and
Mhm.
confident in their decision to
Mhm.
work with you or
Yep.
your brand.
Yep.
In most cases, we work one to one with people, and our clients work one to one with people.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you showcase who you are, how you communicate, why,
Yeah.
put the story and the foundation behind it,
Yeah.
because like this is why businesses fail too, is because of this trauma that they receive in feeling like they did not receive what they thought they were going to.
Yeah. Overpromise and underdelivered is a lot of the problem right now, right? And I think to
Yeah.
your point also that you need to make sure that you're not just putting fluff out for your people. Like
Yeah.
you need to make that the fluff days are over. Don't take up space in their feed with fluff. Like really understand the principles of copywriting, understand the principles of marketing, understand
Yes.
and you can't begin to understand them if you don't have a rock solid brand foundation, right?
Correct.
All of it goes together. And to your point, SEO is so important. I mean, not just with Google, but we know with YouTube, with Pinterest, with TikTok,
Everything.
it's literally, and that's such a brilliant way to explain it. It's always, you've got to be, clear over clever. You have to speak to
Yes.
them the way that, you would speak to a friend that's in the room. That's like solid. That's really important advice to highlight because I think that this is the direction that buyer behavior has taken.
Thank
And yeah,
God.
right? I know. And you have to meet them where they are. I say you always have to meet them in their operating reality.
Yes.
You can't stay in your own. You have to really understand their operating reality because your brand is the answer to that. And then
Yes.
it's about understanding that and how you can nurture them and really put, value out for them and create a trustworthy brand. I mean, that is so
Mhm.
vitally important. It's really like that know, like, trust. We've all heard of that, right? It's because it's
Yeah.
crucially important to give people to build that trust and to actually deliver on what you're putting out, right?
Exactly, and I don't know about you, but, like, I don't wanna give out refunds.
No,
So,
no.
like,
Yeah, not at
if
all.
if you're
Not at all.
driven by anything, which, right, we're
Mhm.
all in business to make money.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
we want to provide a solution that we
Mhm.
believe in. This is where it all starts. No
Yeah.
one right, no one starts doing something to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make $1,000,000 in this one solution." Very
Yeah.
small percentage of people do that, but
Yeah.
you do need to make money and you
Yeah.
don't want to lose it either. And if
No.
you don't focus on the right things, the right messaging, clarity, education, empowerment to your buyer
Mhm.
to make sure that
Mhm.
you are the right choice,
Mhm. Yeah.
then you're going to give refunds.
100%. 100%. And it's, I call it, in fact, I was like thinking about starting like a little like weekly series called Misleading Marketing.
Ooh,
Where I know, right? Because I was on a call last week and I got off and I was, I have my time blocking. So I was like, it was my 15 or 20 minutes to show up and engage with community online. And I'm going through and I see this person on LinkedIn talk about how she burned her one-to-one consulting business coaching to the ground. And she was just passive income and making a ton of money. And I'm making money when I wake up and I make money. And that may be true. That may be
yeah.
true. And I believe her. But here's what frustrates me about that kind of marketing and why I want to tell the people who are watching this to really understand what we're saying today about brand and the way it guides your sales and marketing experience is that may be very well and true for her. And I believe her and I believe what she's doing. And I'm glad it works for her. However, most people, if they're in the first like 3 to 5 years, they have not established great enough visibility.
Yes.
They're not growing on multiple platforms in multiple, because I quickly looked her up and she's everywhere. She's on multiple platforms. She's on Pinterest. She's on SEO. So let's talk about it. Is there really anything such as passive income? No, you have
No.
to put the offer out to a community and you either need to nurture it through social media, SEO, or email.
Yep.
Nothing is entirely passive, but people are they just want to make money without with very little effort and with just, kind of on just this auto cycle. And don't we all? I mean, if we're
Yeah,
not making
I
money,
do.
I do. Sure. But like, let's be forward facing about like how it's done and what
Yes.
the foundational steps you must take to get there. And I think that, to go back to the buyer experience, I think that there are people who are just going to see that passive income
Yes.
and yada, yada, and they haven't done the foundational work to do what she's talking about. And so then like, what's your buyer experience going to be?
Mhm.
How are they going to get the results that you're promising if there is not I think it's just so crucially important. I think people are
Agreed.
getting wise and they know flashy statements, like when they see them, like, 10,000 followers in 30 days is now like 10,000 followers in 6 months or a year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can't even like think of that. Well, on LinkedIn, I have it, but I've
yeah,
been working on that for a year. I think I have over 12,000 and I've deleted a lot of
which is
them,
amazing. It's
but
amazing.
it takes time.
It
And
takes focused
even
effort.
with that, like if you are in your first couple of years, and I say this to my clients all the time, especially if they're new or they're changing their business model. You need to give yourself permission to fail in the
Yeah.
first 3 years in business. The first year is about discovery, right?
Mhm.
What works, what
Totally.
doesn't work. The second year is by taking those things that have worked, actually implementing them, putting them into a really solid plan for the
Mhm.
future and
Mhm.
tweaking anything that's needed. And the third year is your first year of
Yeah.
actually executing everything
So true.
thoroughly to
So
set
true.
up the rest of like right the next couple of years before you
Yeah.
go and add anything else on. And
Yes.
a lot of people want to add like all these flashy shiny things, and you only need one solid offer that
Mhm.
you can focus on for 18 to 24 months. People hate when I say that. They're like
Really?
18 to 24 months.
They
Yes,
hate when you say that?
they hate it
Wow.
because what that shows me is that they are not committed to what they want to
Mhm.
sell.
Bravo, I
And
agree.
if
Yeah.
you are not believing in the thing that you are going to be offering, like you're married to this thing, right?
Yep.
That's how your mentality needs to be.
Love
You
that.
need to eat it, sleep it, breathe it, talk about it with the person that you meet at church or on the highway. Like, oh, you should join my group,
100%.
right? Like, if you
Yeah.
cannot do this and
Yes.
commit to it for at least 18 to
Yes.
24 months,
Yes.
through like the really ugly dating stages, if we want to think about
Love that.
relationships,
Yep.
it's not for you. Don't
Agreed.
do it.
Love it. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Couldn't agree more. That is absolutely true. And it unfortunately is not for everybody,
No,
right? That
it's
delayed
not.
gratification, it's just not for anybody. And that's okay. I think that's totally okay. I think that it shouldn't be for everybody. But I think that's brilliant advice. And I think that the only way you can do something really well and get better and better and better and truly serve and just grow an absolutely thriving business is to literally approach it like you said in that first 3 years, in truly understanding. My coach says you have to simplify to multiply. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that.
Yes.
I think you have to take action in order to simplify, because the
Yes.
action gives us the clarity,
Yes.
right?
I
And
was
and
just going to
and
say that.
and the faster you fail, you're failing forward. I mean, so many people, Kim Perel just put it up today on LinkedIn, and she said, you don't fail. You only fail if you quit, basically. Otherwise you win or you learn.
Yeah.
And the faster you can do that and execute and move on, and it's like, it really is the kind of secret sauce, right? To
I
like,
agree.
yeah, to growth and to reaching more of your ideal people. But I think people, unfortunately, they maybe have a couple of failures and they're like, I'm not cut out for this, or it's not meant to be,
Yes.
or I need to change my offer, or I need to. But I love what you said, because what I say to clients is it has to be a win-win for service, for business owner and either buyer, or like whether it's a service or a product.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy you bring to the table is going to make or break it. Like,
Agreed.
if you love this offer more than anything, the features of it and the price is like a hell yes, you're going to sell that baby, no problem. But
Yeah.
if you spin into, maybe it needs to be tweaked, maybe I need to offer a Facebook group, maybe I need to do that, and you're like kind of spinning, you're going to struggle a little bit. And that's
Yeah.
okay, but you got to struggle to figure it out. And you got to, I
Exactly.
love that. You got to like go through that yucky dating phase of like,
Yeah.
figuring it out, right? It takes time, but it's like, oh, so worth it when you get to that point where you're like, yes, like all that hard work
Yes.
paid off, right?
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
then the other thing I would add to it too is don't be afraid to do betas, right?
Oh, yes.
Like I
Yes.
think betas are so important. Like,
I did several of those this
yeah,
last year, and that's
yeah,
how I got to the Womanpreneur Lab and
same,
the Empowerment Planner. And
same.
then I have 2 courses, digital
Okay.
courses that I offer, and that's it. Like that's
Yep.
all that I do.
Brilliant. Love it. Love it. I think that's so
But it
important.
took
And
testing, and it took
yes,
being
yes,
honest
yes,
with my test students and my
yes,
test audience saying,
yes,
I am testing this program. This
absolutely.
is my experience. I'm trying to figure out what platform works best, right? What delivery, what channel is going to work best in order
Yeah.
to serve my audience. And I
Mhm.
figured out like very quickly, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
You have to test in order to
Mhm.
find the solution that you're going to focus on for 18 to 24 months.
Yes, agreed. I absolutely love that. And I feel like it's such a refreshing thing to hear because there's been so much focus on like fast growth and scaling and make
Yeah.
6 figures in 6 weeks and all that.
No.
I'm like,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm, that
No.
that era is over.
Long-term success is not made overnight. And
Yes.
any entrepreneur that I speak to who is right, success in my eyes is that you are following through on your mission, you're
Mhm.
accomplishing goals that you set out for, and
Mhm.
you're consistently elevating your business and your own personal growth and finances through it as well.
Mhm.
Any successful entrepreneur that I speak with, they all say it took me 10 years to be an overnight success
I love, yes,
because no
100%.
one sees the hard work and like
The
the
early years.
literal tears and the
Mhm.
sweat and the pain and the frustration and the sleepless nights.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurship is not for the weak minded.
No.
It challenges you every single day to step into your own
Yes.
personal development as well.
Yep.
And tell me a little bit because I know we have like 5-10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you are helping founders through Founder Fast Track. Like, what are
Sure.
the stages of this? What's the goal of the program?
Yeah.
Why did you come up with this specific framework? And I love the name of it so
Oh, thank
much.
you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So it didn't come to me overnight. I will be honest. I worked for a couple years, tried a couple different things, betaed all the things, and then I zeroed in on this probably the beginning of 2023, and did beta up until June. And so small cohorts, lots of feedback, high touch.
Hmm.
Um, in that moment to understand what is needed because I want to give some people high value for an affordable price. I wasn't
Yes.
seeing it in the market. I just wasn't seeing it. To get real true support, you were paying like upwards of 2,500 a month. And let's be real, nobody should be paying that if they're in their first 5 years of business.
No. Agreed.
So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. So anyways, it's a 5-step method because over the years that I worked with my one-to-one consultant clients, and then I did the small group in different ways, I was noticing a theme. And I started to notice that there were like 5 areas that all needed to kind of come together and
Hmm.
jive in order to create that productivity and predictability that leads to the profitability. And
Yeah.
so over time, I really started doing work and research and figuring things out, a lot of market research. And I came up with Founder Fast Track because I want more people to be exposed to true foundational principles that
Yes.
lead, like you said, that lead to true sustainability because anybody can learn the trends. The trends are the
Yes.
easy things to learn, right?
Yes.
The trends will always be here. There will always be, it will be an important part of your strategy, but like it really is those foundational things that people kind of just glaze over. They think they do the work and they really don't. And so
Hmm.
they, like, to your point, they get 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and it's like, oh, well, this is spinning out of control, or
Yeah.
I gotta close the doors. And so the idea is that I want them to have a membership. So it's I don't even know what to call this. Like it's a membership and a community. It's both.
Yeah.
And so I said, I want you to learn. I want you to learn the 5 steps. And then I want the membership aspect because I want people to stay and know I'll take the hard part out of growing a business. I will stay up on trends. I will
Yes.
stay up on the latest things. So you don't have to. So you know you have a place to come and you always know the foundational and the latest trends.
Yes.
That was the first part. And then the other part that I really feel passionate about, just for my own personal reasons, is the avoiding burnout, right?
Yes.
Because so common to get overwhelmed, to not know how to juggle all the things, to be uncertain, to not really have anybody to turn to and
Yeah.
ask the questions and cheer on and pick you up when you're feeling down and those kind of things. It's really, that's important to me. And so I realized though that most of the time business owners feel that way because they're getting off track. That's where the name came from. So like they get distracted by, oh, I'm supposed to be like thinking about growing on LinkedIn or growing here or doing this and that. And there's so much that they really can get off track so easily. They don't understand that to stay on track, you need that foundational 5 that we cover in the program. And then once you have the foundational 5, you really should only be like thinking about maybe one new thing a quarter in terms of embracing something new to try in your business. And to your point, testing and troubleshooting and really like being open to failing because it may not all work. But if you have the foundational elements, you know you can still stay on track and continue to generate revenue while you experiment with other things. And then the other part is understanding that, you're building team from like the beginning. And people are like, no, I'm new, Kim, I can't afford it. And I'm like, there is a college intern out there somewhere who would be more than happy to give you an hour or 2 a week to help you in some way. And then it goes on their it goes on their resume. They're happy to have this work experience. I'm like, if you stay growth mindset and growth oriented, like
there are solutions everywhere.
Yes.
There are solutions to every excuse that you think that you have. And someone has already provided that solution because they had that excuse.
Exactly. And we all make them, right? Let's be honest. We all have our ways and we have to be like guided out of thinking, in that way. And I think that's an important piece. You and I both love like the hot seat calls, the mindset calls.
Yes.
I think we both realize you cannot think about growing a business with one singular focus. You really, really have to get good at bringing it all together, but it takes time, right? And so you should want to find a community where you feel like your little slice, could be yours, could be mine, could be somebody else's, but you find that slice that calms the chaos for you. That brings on the community and answers the questions and, really cheers you on or gives you some tough love when you need to hear it. Cause I think it sounds like you're in agreement with me. Like if you're saying it takes 18 to 24, months to really grow something well, which I completely agree with, then there's going to be some tough love in that journey. There's going to be some time where you're going to need some straight shooting and really clear, like, hey, we don't think like that. Or, you did.
Stop watching Netflix.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm like, this is not going to grow itself if you're watching 4 hours of Netflix a night. Like,
right? Like, I don't have time.
100%.
And trust me, like I get caught up in the Netflix and I sit there. I'm like, darn it, I got it. So I turn it off and I like run over to my computer.
But like
I would rather be productive.
Like, do you acknowledge it? Do you tell yourself, like I told myself, so last week I had a live launch and I love them and I hate them. I literally love them. Because when I'm in them, I love the energy. I love pouring into people, but they're a lot of work and they're as an introvert, they drain my battery because when the launch is over, I'm not done. Then I have days of consults where you're in back-to-back meetings all day. Right.
It's exhausting.
So it's tiring.
Yeah.
So you best believe last night I got my cozy blanket and I was catching up on Suits and but I told myself, I like gave myself that. Like, it's not a habit.
It's
not a habit. Yeah. The way
give yourself permission.
Right? Like it's almost like a self-care.
Yeah.
Like the way you'd book a massage or you'd book
me time.
Yeah. And it was like, this is where I'm at, got my doggy and, watch, but it's not an every night thing. It's like a recharge. So I think that's, I think that's super important So
I
we're
think that's
clearly share a brain, I think.
we do. I think we're separated at birth.
I think so. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're still. Yeah, there you
Tech
go.
difficulties.
Like
I don't
always,
know.
right?
I don't
Always.
know how to use a computer.
No worries. Me too.
So I love all of this. I want to know, where is the best place for someone to connect with you, either to, set up a call or a consultation or follow your content or learn more about Founder Fast Track. Where should they go?
Sure. So I think it depends on how they enjoy consuming content. That's what I always tell
Mm,
people, right?
love it.
So go to KimBreilandCoaching.com. My
Okay.
name is on the screen. So it's just KimBreilandCoaching.com. And you can have a choice. You can book a consult. You can join my email list. There's freebies on my site. There's information about Founder Fast Track. There's also all of my social pages linked. I am truly transparent. I am a business that grew for many years on referrals and consulting, referrals. And so 2 years is all I've been doing in terms of social growth, and I've been doing great. And I really hope people take this to heart when I'm about to say, you can make a lot of money without having thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. And for anybody in that first 5 years of growth, I think that's important to
Yes.
highlight. I only just started on LinkedIn. I thought of LinkedIn as like a stuffy 9 to 5, like corporate hangout. And that's just, I don't know why. That's just like, no offense, LinkedIn, I love you. Like you're my, BFF these days. But
Meanwhile, I'm posting about my abuse on LinkedIn.
Well, no, but that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
it really is such a phenomenal. If
Yeah.
you love intelligent conversation and inspiring people, you want to be hanging out on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I started in February, I think. And I don't even know. I think I'm at like 2,700 connections, followers, whatever. And it's been incredible.
Yeah.
Just starting to grow and dip my water in my toe in the water in Instagram land. I think I'm just under 2K there. And so it's like, you don't
Girl, you're
need,
ahead of me there. I don't understand Instagram at all.
well, it's my team member. I'm like, so this is it. I think this is, so we'll talk, because like, I just love like having conversation, but it's so interesting because I used to be I hate social media. I'm not spending my time growing on that, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But I really didn't understand it. And I had to
Yeah.
understand it to better help my clients, because it really is. It's
True.
like, it used to be optional, and it's not anymore.
Yeah.
It's not optional to not grow on social media. It's not optional. It's no longer optional to not understand SEO and how you're going to leverage that for your business. Right.
Yeah.
There's so many things, and it's not meant to be scary. Right. A true
It's not.
entrepreneur,
Yeah.
always curious, always learning, always growing and trying new things. And so it's really fascinating to me. And so my big goal this year, my team member, Jess, she's fully on understanding and breaking down the different platforms and how to grow on them and how to show up and how to leverage and all the wonderful things that go with learning that, so that
Amazing.
you don't have to figure that out. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and the truth is, you don't need to live on social media to grow a stinking amazing business. And I think that's the misconception too. Right.
Oh, we could have
I know.
our own podcast.
I know. I have to start my podcast. If one more person tells me, I know I need to do it. And also just because I love these kind of conversations. They're so,
I do too.
so helpful and so inspiring. And I just love it. It's just amazing.
Oh, I do too.
So,
okay. And so for anyone, by the way, if you're still listening, you get a sweet freebie that Kim put together. It is her newest guide, which is 3 steps to identify your unique brand position using AI, which I love. I said at the beginning of the conversation that I shared in a recent episode my one prompt to set your foundation for your brand on ChatGPT. This is probably an extension of that. I'm so excited to see it. I'm going to get the freebie.
Yeah, awesome. Sure.
For anyone who wants the freebie, you need to go to my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Underneath my name, it says subscribe to my emails. Click the button, insert your email. You will get this freebie. If you attended today and you registered, you will get this freebie. I will personally send it to you. And Kim, I'm just so glad to know you. I'm so
Thank
excited about
you.
Founder Fast Track. I can't wait to get
Yes.
to know you more and champion your work.
Same, same. And I can't wait to have you on my LinkedIn Live for another conversation. This has been amazing. I would
Yes.
love it.
Ah,
Thanks,
so
Ashley.
happy. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Happy Friday. We'll see you next week for another episode of Brand Experience Live podcast.
Awesome.